My name is L.Perez and I'm going to be doing declamation. Hillary Clinton delivered the speech in 1995 in Beijing, China at the UN Fourth World Conference on Women's Plenary Session to address the importance of women in our global society. This is a coming together, much the way women come together every day in every country. We come together in fields and factories, in village markets and supermarkets, in living rooms and boardrooms. Whether it is playing with our children in the park, or washing clothes in a river, or taking a break at the water office cooler, we come together and talk about our aspirations and concern. And time and again, our talk turns to our children and our families. However different we may appear, there is far more that unites us than divides us. We share a common future, and we are here to find common ground, so that we may help bring new dignity and respect to women and girls all over the world, and in doing so, bring new strength and stability to families as well. There are some who question the reason for this conference. Let them listen to the voices of women in their own homes, neighborhoods, and workplaces. There are some who wonder whether the lives of women and girls matter to economic and political progress around the globe. Let them look at the women gathered here at Y Route and the homemakers and nurses, the teachers and lawyers, the policymakers and women who run their own businesses. It is conferences like this that compel governments and people everywhere to listen, look, and face the world's most pressing problems. Wasn't it, after all, after the Women's Conference in Nairobi 10 years ago, that the world focused for the first time on the crisis of domestic violence? The great challenge of this conference is to give voice to women everywhere whose experiences go unnoticed, whose words go unheard. Women comprise more than half the world's population, 70% of the world's poor, and 2/3 of those who are not taught to read and write. We are the primary caretakers for most of the world's children and elderly, yet much of the work we do is not valued, not by economists, not by historians, not by popular culture, and not by government leaders. At this very moment, as we sit here, women around the world are giving birth, raising children, cooking meals, washing clothes, cleaning houses, planting crops, working on assembly lines, running companies, and running countries. Women are also dying from diseases that should have been prevented or treated. They are watching their children succumb to malnutrition caused by poverty and economic deprivation. They are being denied the right to go to school by their own fathers and brothers. They are being forced into prostitution. They are being barred from the bank lending offices and banned from the ballot box. Those who have the opportunity to be here have the responsibility to speak for those who cannot. As an American, I want to speak for those women in my own country. Women who are raising children on the minimum wage. Women who cannot afford health care or child care. Women whose lives are threatened by violence, including violence in their own homes. I want to speak up for those women who are fighting for good schools, safe neighborhoods, clean air, and clean airwaves. For older women, some of them widows, who find that after raising their families, their skills and life experiences are not valued in the marketplace. For women who are working all night as nurses, hotel clerks, or fast food chefs so that they can be at the home during the day with their children. And for women everywhere who simply do not have the time to do everything they are called upon to do each and every day. Speaking to you today, I speak for them, just as each of us speaks for women around the world who are denied the chance to go to school or see a doctor or own property, or have the say about the direction of their lives simply because they are women. The truth is that most women around the world will work both inside and outside the home, usually by necessity. We need to understand there is no one formula for how women should lead our lives. That is why we must respect the choices that each woman makes for herself and for her family. Every woman deserves a chance to realize her own God-given potential, but we must recognize that women will never gain full dignity until their human rights are respected and protected. Tragically, women are often the ones whose human rights are violated. Even now, in the late 20th century, the rape of women continues to be used as an instrument of armed conflict. Women and children make up a majority of the world's refugees, and when women are excluded from the political progress, they become even more vulnerable to abuse. I believe that now, on the eve of a new millennium, it is time to break the silence. It is time for us to stay here in Beijing, and for the world to hear that it is no longer acceptable to discuss women's rights as separate from human rights. These abuses have continued because for far too long, the history of women has been a history of silence. Even today, there are those who are trying to silence our words. But the voices of this conference and the women at Wairobi must be heard loudly and clearly. It is a violation of human rights when babies are denied food or drowned or suffocated or their spines are broken simply because they are born girls. It is a violation of human rights when women and girls are sold into the slavery of prostitution for human greed, and the kinds of reasons that are used to justify this practice should no longer be tolerated. It is a violation of human rights when women are doused with gasoline, set on fire, and burned to death because their marriage dowries are deemed too small. It is a violation of human rights when individual women are raped in their own communities and when thousands of women are subjected to rape as a tactic or prize of war. It is a violation of human rights when the leading cause of death worldwide among women ages 14 to 44 is the violence they are subjected to in their own homes by their own relatives. It is a violation of human rights when young girls are brutalized by the painful and degrading practices of genital mutilation. It is a violation of human rights when women are denied the right to plan their own families. That includes being forced to have abortions or being sterilized against their will. If there is one message that echoes forth from this conference, let it be that human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights, once and for all. Let us not forget that among those rights are the right to speak freely and the right to be heard. Women must enjoy the right to participate fully in the social and political lives of their countries. If we want freedom and democracy to thrive and endure, it is indefensible that many women in non-governmental organizations who wish to participate in this conference have not been able to attend or have been prohibited from fully taking part. Now it is the time to act on behalf of women everywhere. If we take bold steps to better the lives of family, we will be taking bold steps to better the lives of children and families too. Families rely on mothers and wives for emotional support and care. Families rely on women for labor in the home. And increasingly everywhere, families rely on women for income needed to raise healthy children and care for other relatives. As long as discrimination and inequities remain so commonplace everywhere in the world, as long as women and girls are valued less, fed last, overworked, underpaid, not schooled, subjected to violence inside and outside their homes, the potential of human family to create a peaceful, prosperous world will not be realized. Let this be the world's call to action. Let us heed that call so we can create a world in which every woman is treated with respect and dignity. Every boy and girl is loved and cared for equally, and every family has a hope of a strong and stable future. That is the work before you. That is the work before all of us who have a vision of the world we want to see for our children and our grandchildren. The time is now. We must move beyond theoretic. We must move beyond recognition of problems to working together, to have the common efforts to build that common ground we hope to see. God's blessing on you, your work, and all who will benefit from it. Godspeed, and thank you very much.